questions about life in Korea came up almost as frequently as marriage or dating. My relatives asked me endlessly, how come you're still in Korea? Don't you miss living in the US? Why are you still in Korea? Like, you lived in US for your whole entire life. Don't you miss it? And living here, I always find that very nosy, but it did get me wondering why they're asking. I guess it makes sense for them to ask because I lived in the US for my whole entire life and I recently came back because of my husband. And of course, like any other countries, there are traits that I find a bit disturbing or annoying that tells me maybe should I go back? However, for someone who has a bit of Koreanness in them, I think it is naturally drawn into you for wanting to live a life in Korea for a bit. So here are my reasons why I chose to stay here, though there might be a bit of K-pride in me because after all, I was born in Korea. 1. Food. Korean food fits my taste so much. Living in Wisconsin my whole entire life, it was so hard to get any Korean food that fits Koreans. A lot of the times, Korean food contains more sugar and less spice to fit the taste for foreigners. Also, there were certain dishes that I could never ever get in my hometown, such as 회 or 솥밥. So I'm happy living in Korea because I can get those food every other week. 2. Delivery. You'd be amazed how long it takes Korea to deliver a meal compared to the US. The food is still warm and in good shape as well. Also, the fact that anything, including alcohol such as beer, soju, can be delivered is amazing to think about. 3. Public transportation. After encountering New York and Chicago subways, it amazes me how clean public transportations are in Korea. Also, the fact that it is cheap and convenient makes me not want to drive in Korea. Also, my favorite thing is that it's really quick. I'm arriving to Busan from Seoul within 5 hours, where it used to take almost 13 hours, including traffic. And that is quite impressive. What was also surprising is that most of the big cities, not just in Seoul, but also Daegu, Daejeon, and even Busan, have really good public transportation system. So if you want to travel outside of Seoul, you still don't need to get a car. 4. Safety. There are definitely places in Seoul that are sketchy or dangerous and that even Koreans do avoid those areas. But overall, it is a very safe place to walk around, especially during nighttime. I remember when I was in college, I got so drunk that I got blacked out from drinking. But this young couple actually got a taxi for me because I was a girl and that it was dangerous for me to be outside for them. And nothing was stolen at the time. So thank you. 감사합니다. 5. Drinking and night culture. So kind of going along with safety, that's probably why the drinking and the night culture is well established in Korea. Everything is running all night, and for those who love to party, including me, yes, I love partying in Korea. There are definitely a lot of those who stay out all night partying and take the first train back home, which operates at 5 a.m. And even there are couples who like to have breakfast together at like 5 or 6 a.m. and take the bus at 7. It's crazy. 6. Hospitals. Coming from the US, I hated going to hospitals because I knew that it was very expensive to even visit a doctor, especially when you don't have insurances. And insurances do cost a lot in US. So when I got to Korea, I remember my husband always telling me, please go see the doctor. Even when I just had a cold or I got like my knees started bleeding because I fell off riding my bike. He's just like, go to the doctor. I'm like, do you know how much it costs? And he goes, not that much compared to the US. The average cost of a hospital in Korea, I would say, is definitely less than $50. I've even had to pay maybe like less than $10. And it was the amazing experience. Can you believe that I got stitches in Korea for, I think it was like $50-ish when I got stitches in US for $2,000? Yeah, that's actually a true story. Number 7, internet, obviously. Internet is everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Buses, trains, subways, they started having internet and the quality is pretty decent as well. And most of them are free. Also, as a huge gamer, I love playing games in Korea. The fact that I can download a very heavy game in less than an hour just surprises me and makes me really happy. It may be the internet in my hometown was pretty slow, but there were times where I had to wait 3-4 hours to download a game. That's probably why the gaming industry in Korea is remarkable. 8. Trend. So this is kind of a double-edged sword. If you love being kept up with the recent trend of anything such as makeup, fashion, and even hot places to go to, Korea is definitely a place you want to be at. For some people, I know this can be exhausting, and it did actually get me exhausting. I kind of grew out of it since I am getting older. But I can see the fun of it because you don't know what the next trend will be, and it sometimes gets exciting. So if you don't know what 탕후루 or Dubai chocolate is, I'd say you're out of date in Korea. 9. K-drama like dates. So this depends on the boy or the guy that you're dating, and I'm not saying it's for every Korean guys, but I've never met a guy who dresses so nicely and is well-mannered during all the dates. Like my husband, when we were dating, he'd be like getting the spoon and chopsticks ready. He'd be pouring me water. He like faces the menu more towards us, and of course that's like depending on the personality too, but maybe that's why I like dating Korean guys. Also, there are so many places you can go for dates. It isn't always the same old route as going to the movies, going to a restaurant, and maybe going to home for Netflix. In Korea, you can go to comic book cafes. There's like pet cafes, so like dog cafe, cat cafe. There's dogs and cats everywhere. It's really cute. VR rooms and more. You'd be kind of shocked why Korean birth rate is so low when you see so many couples outside. And number 10, Korean fashion and makeup. For someone who did not look like this when living in the US, I didn't really figure out how to make myself look nice. I like to be very no makeup a lot of the times. Koreans have taught me so much. So Korean makeups especially are not just affordable because shopping in like Sephora or other places, you can get really good quality makeups for a really decent price. So no wonder all the Korean girls look really stunning every time. Also, the dermatology and plastic surgery is a common thing in Korea. We actually say eyelid plastic surgery isn't like a legitimate surgery. It's like because a lot of people do get it, so that no one will kind of shame you for doing it. Since a lot of people do kind of look into doing it as well. So these were the reasons why I enjoy and love staying in Korea. And let me know what your experiences were or what you want to experience. I want to tell you more about my stories and why I love living in Korea. So don't forget to follow and sub to hear more podcasts about my life in Korea as a Korean American newlywed. Thanks for watching and see you guys in my next one. 안녕!